Greetings, Dr. Jeffrey Scott. And for those of you who have requested, I'm actually going to show you how I can do my market analysis in TradeStation. And this is something I've been working on as another daily video. I call it Markets in Minutes. So this will be a little longer as I show you my tools. But I've been putting these things out now, 5-minute videos at night, and showing you with the right tools how quickly you can do a top-down analysis, get right to the best stocks to be going long or short in the market, and do it quickly. So as I titled my longer video on YouTube, will Thursday's bearish reversal lead to September pain in the U.S. markets? I do think that we still have some rough patches ahead before this market rallies into year end. I have a new email address supporting my TradeStation and TradingView packages, jeffrey.scott@topdowntrader.com. All the things that I do are for educational purposes only. Anything I talk about should be in the spirit of education, not investment advice. I'm a doctor, not a broker. In fact, I only trade after hours because I run involved in the leadership of a large healthcare technology company with over 3,500 employees. I'm independent. I'm so happy that I have my tools in WealthCharts. I'm happy that Van built what I'm going to show you in TradeStation. Praveen built me tools in TradingView. And I pay for the tools that I use, and trading involves risk, and you are solely responsible for any decisions you make. Now, this is unusual because I'm actually going to do a live session. I don't do them very often. This will be August 30th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, where I will demonstrate how I do my top-down approach, identifying potential trades, and review my favorite option strategies. I have specific trades I like to take with options, and I'll show you them. I'm directional, so it's going to be about directional strategies. I'm going to show you my tool sets. I'm going to show you the WealthCharts tools, the TradeStation tools, the TradingView tools. There'll be special launch price on TradeStation and TradingView, and if you like the WealthChart stuff, which is great, there'll be an upcoming, we should be announcing soon, I'll have links for the upcoming Wealth 365 event will they'll be available. You can register for this live event at, you can see tinyurl.com, top-down doc. Love to see you live, and those that register, I will send the video to. And then just, self-promotion, I have a site. This is maintained for me by the WealthCharts, Become a Better Trader folks. And I try and put out daily thoughts on the market. Typically, I do them late the night before. And, hopefully you can find the 5 minutes or about that I do. This would be inside WealthCharts. I'll have a similar one eventually for the TradeStation tools as well. So on that note, let's go ahead and let's take a look at how quickly I can do my analysis inside of TradeStation. So give me a second. There we go. So a lot of folks know that I've built a market timing model. It involves a WMA and my bongo system. Since this is weekly, it's a weekly WMA and a weekly bongo. To be in buy mode, you have to have in this platform a blue bongo and be price above the WMA. And you could see, had you bought when price broke above the WMA with a blue bongo, you would have had a really nice run and you would have been out of the market the last two candles. So this is the spider. So price is above, bongo is red. So this is a caution zone. Q's, price above, bongo's red, caution. The Russell, technically the price is below, bongo red, which is a sell signal, but I'm going to call it caution because frankly price closed close enough to say right on the WMA. And the diamonds touched the WMA, closed above, but with a red bongo. So you've got caution in this market. This is not sell, 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 and it's not buy, buy, buy. When I look at my market meter weekly, and I just want to point out that some of these tools actually are pretty cool. This is the Hindenburg Omen tool, and you see as the NASDAQ ran up before it turned over, you would have had more than ample on these weekly charts signals saying, be careful, be careful, be careful. And the Bango, which I typically do on daily charts, is the red line, and this indicates some irrational exuberance. So you had signs on this run-up culminated by the Hindenburgs here in 2020 that fired up before the markets rolled over, before we even knew what COVID was. So I look at a lot of signals. They've all been programmed into my TradeStation set. If I look at the daily futures, which I'll do during the day, but since we're on the weekend, let's just look at the ETFs of the markets. We can see whether I look at the spiders, the Qs, broken down below the 50. If we look at the Russell, also broken down below the 50. Now, my buddy Sagar from SuperiorProfit.co has this thing called Q Memory, which I love. I don't know, it's not seem to be. I'll have to play with that later, which puts a lot of the trend lines on the charts for me. Right now, I don't have the trend lines set up, but you could see we failed at the 50, failed at the 50, failed at the 50 on the diamonds, failed at the 50, and are now living at support sideways on the Russell. Interestingly, the UVXY, let's make sure we put on a daily chart. The UVXY on Friday was down and it failed at the 50 as well. And the one thing that's really in a big bull run is the dollar. That can't be good for long-term investors. If we look at commodities with the dollar up, going nowhere on gold, although we're off the low. Silver has had a bigger move, has actually taken out its moving averages, but also going sideways. I wonder if this may turn out to be a reversal candle in oil. Why? Because I think it's interesting that you had a big hammer and a big positive move, and that would be interesting in this market. And commodities, gas are strong, natural gas not. I'm talking about gasoline. And then, the place to be concerned about besides the dollar is the 10-year. In the last couple of days, we did ease. If I throw this on weekly charts, though, you'll see, are we topping on the 10-year and the 30-year? That would be awesome. In fact, I could throw a monthly chart on this and blow it up here, and you get a sense of why a lot of people are looking at this area. This is an area going back years that we've not been at. So we had a double top here, but you got to go back to late 2008 to see a similar level on the 10-year. So we are at critical places on the 10-year, critical places on the dollar, and I mentioned in the longer video that those I'm going to be watching. So that gives you the market side. So a lot of people have asked me in TradeStation, how am I going to look at industry groups or what's working? So I've created a massive list of ETFs. I call it max ETFs. I also have the S&P sectors. And what this enables me to do is to look at the force index, 2, 5, or 13-day force, and rank them this way. Typical to how I've done it long-term in HDSI has been a great vehicle for figuring out what's moving now. I have what I call my modified force, where I mitigate the impact of volume. So you have smaller numbers and it takes away the big volume moves. So what is IGV? IGV is tech software, actually was very strong on Friday. And then I looked at relative strength 1 day, 3 day, and 30 days. And you can see UGA for gasoline was strong on both 1 and 3 days. So what I typically do is I play. Then these are rate of change, and I've got one set at, I think, let's see, I can't remember what it's set at. One's at 3, one's at 5, a little bit longer. Let's just see. So this one, the rate of change is set at 5 days. That might be too long. I may adjust that. And this one I think is the standard setting, which is longer, 14. Okay. So different ways of ranking what's working now. The fastest is probably the 1 day relative strength. The second fastest is the 2 day force. And the third fastest is that rate of change. So looking at the fastest one, we might want to look at UGA, which is energy, refiners. This is cybersecurity, FANG, Qs, software. Okay, so I can do that. Now then I can do something else. I can then come down here and let's see if I have any groups that might be interesting. Now, what I'm going to show you here is still a work in progress, but I'm going to try and build out the number of groups that I have. So you'll be able to see on custom lists, I have a number. So energy is a list that I built out. I have IGV, which is software. Remember, IGV was one of the first. So I can put IGV in. And now what it's going to do is it's going to go through the same analysis on IGV I'm going to show you a couple ways I'm going to do this. And I could look at the 1-day moves here, and I could see that BlackBerry was potential takeout, workday, VRNS into it. And we're going to dive deeper into those three. So what have I done? I've identified the market. Again, caution is caution. I'm not advocating buy, buy, buy. Then I've looked at industry group ETFs, sector ETFs. I came up with software. Then I looked at software stocks, and I came up with three I might look at. I'm going to make it even better for you. I'm going to go into this new tool that I have, which is called the Market MRI, and I am going to run the IGV that I just showed you. So a lot of symbols. Hit OK. I'm going to hit Start. While I'm doing that, 117, I'm going to load up my weekly, a large list of stocks for more of a bottoms-up approach. And that's the weekly consolidated list. Hit OK. Now I'm going to rank these by dots, and I'm going to see come up to the top are the ones that might be worth looking at. And you can see that I have here a number of things. Let me just trick here. There you go. Move it a bit, and it resizes. Into it. So into it, what does it tells me? It's in a squeeze. It had 3 dots. It just went positive on the daily bongo, which means it must have been in some type of a reversal. The weekly bongo has been positive. It's got good relative strength compared to the spider for going on for 7 weeks. It's not extended, and it's a high relative strength stock. So here's a chart on Intuit, again, using all the indicators that come with my package except for that Q memory, which is that thing here. And what do I see? I see a stock that's in an uptrend on the weekly. You can see the weekly bongo here. You can see the weekly bongo showed a pullback, and then it flipped on yesterday, Friday, to a buy. At the same time, we broke out above resistance, high relative strength. I believe earnings are out. 3 dots, volume, breakout momentum, in a squeeze. PSAR is reversed, and relative strength is much higher than that of the spider, and OBV is about to turn positive. So Intuit looks interesting. BlackBerry, I got all excited when I saw the chart, but then I realized that there's talk about takeout, and this is not a high relative strength stock. I could look at Autodesk, another one, and this one I passed on because it's got these trendline resistance right above. Workday was one of the 3 I mentioned before, similar to Intuit, a nice breakout from trendline resistance with 3 dots, relative strength and OBV, and just a reversal on the daily bongo. And then VRNS, another one took out a trend line or bounced off the trend line, 3 dots, relative strength and OBV. That's how quickly I can do that. Now I'm going to run this big list, which is going to take a few minutes because it's almost 2,000 stocks. Now, what I could have also done in IGV is I could have filtered the results, and I could have opened, and let's look at, and I like buying pullbacks and uptrends. Pullback and uptrend with the squeeze, pullback and uptrend alone. So I'm going to do that, and now what's going to happen, all the stocks that showed up here are going to have a daily bongo reversal within that 9 days that I've asked for. And the ones we talked about, here's another one I like, PTC. Breakout above trendline resistance, off of support, breakout of momentum. The volume wasn't great. Relative strength is great with a fresh breakout above the moving average. And OBV is sort of, well, the blue is above the yellow, so it's above its moving average. So I like technology to make my life easier. So very quickly, I know this is already 13 minutes in. Typically, my videos are 5 minutes. I was able to look at the stock market. Then I was able to identify what groups were moving. And now I was able to then run a analysis of that industry group because I had a ETF components that I was able to run. Now, the package that you'll hear about on Wednesday for TradeStation includes the scanner and the indicators, all except for that Q memory. It includes all my proprietary scanning tools in the radar screen. And I am building out the package of custom lists so that you can do the same thing that I did here. And I'm going to continue to update that. Why? Because I'm going to build a basic set. And then as we get other market leading groups, I'll build out those groups as they come. And there's various resources that I might use to do that. So I hope you see the value. In a moment, this is going to be done. And what I really like about this is I can take 1,983 stocks, and this is a large list that I call my weekly consolidated list. And I can do the same filter approach. Let's open up, pull back and uptrends. Let's look for ones with a squeeze. And let's hit OK. And there may or may not be many of these, but let's see what comes out of that analysis. Come on, work for me. Let's try that one more time. That may be what it's doing right there. I got to make sure to squeeze. Let's do squeeze or release. Hit OK. All right, well, there you go. Now it's requiring that you have the pullback reversal, so less than 9 days on a weekly, daily, on a daily bongo. The weekly bongo's got to be green. I want to buy stocks whose relative strength is better than the S&P. If you like the IBD type of relative strength, this is the column over here. And the high-low jump plus 100, anything above plus 95 is too extended for me to look at. So Hasbro is extended. Something below minus 95 is too extended to the downside. And so we can rank them by dots. That's what I typically do here. And the first one was Hasbro, which is a beautiful chart, except it was more beautiful when it was closer to this line. And the high jump here is at 100, which tells me it's the most extended it's been for 200 bars. We looked at Intuit, we looked at Workday, MasterCard and Visa both looked interesting. So do you have a cup, little handle, and a breakout? Um, Volume, breakout, momentum, relative strength, and OBV look good. We looked at Varonis Systems, I believe. Yep, nice breakout there. So look how great this tool is. Very quickly, I brought up actionable stocks meeting certain criteria that I'm looking for. Hope you find this useful, and I hope I get to see you on Wednesday night when I do my rare, and I mean rare, live videos. I haven't done a live one in a while except for some of the Wealth Charts programs. Looking forward to seeing you. There's a URL. I'll stick the URL in a copyable format in the YouTube box. Have a great, great rest of the weekend, and I hope to see you Wednesday.